Hi folks, I'm Chris and this is the Life of Riley. I'm here today to talk to new pilots, people that are thinking about getting into drones, flying drones, never flew them before, thinking about buying a new quad for the very first time, because I was in your shoes just a few months ago. I started out wanting a Hubsan H501 S-S Advanced. I really liked the looks of that bird. Had a lot of great features, but it's expensive for me. I mean, I had the money to get it, but I just didn't want to spend that much right off the bat. And a lot of people told me you don't need to. You're liable to crash it and break it. But what my point is, if you got $100 or less to spend, I mean, everybody told me don't get a GPS quad to start with to learn how to fly. Get a toy quad, something that don't have altitude hold or anything like that, to learn how to fly. Okay. But in my experience, I don't agree with that. And let me tell you why. I had never flown a quad before or drone before. I got this one. Right out of the box, I could fly this thing. I'd done a lot of research on it and found that it was, nobody had any bad things to say about it. I mean, it was just a good, cheap drone with GPS. And it has a great return to home feature. I really wanted the Hubsan, but it's $350 or $60 for the one I wanted. So there's a big price difference here. Now I really wanted FPV. This does not have FPV. But I ordered an FPV system for it, like a Runcam Eagle 2. I've got $100 in, well actually I paid $115.99 for this drone off of GearBest with a code that I put in. MJX b2c or something like that, I think. Alright, then I spent another $100 on the camera and the transmitter and the goggles and stuff like that I need to put FPV on this thing. So I still only have $200 in it. That's still $150 or $60 cheaper than I could have got the Hubsan that I wanted. And all the research that I did, the Hubsan showed to have some flaws. I'm not saying it's not a good bird. I believe it is a real good bird, but you get some bad ones every once in a while, or things happen that, and I'm scared to take that risk for that kind of money just starting out, and I think a lot of people would be. But like I say, I got this one first and I could fly it right out of the box, and the reason is it's got altitude hold plus GPS. If you let off the stick, it just stops and it'll stay right there. A lot of people would freak out, and with the one that didn't have this, and they would crash it. And I probably would have crashed this many times if it didn't have those features, but it does. Now, what was hard for me at first was when the copter goes out and you turn, everything is reversed on the way back. And judging the distance between how far it is, how close it is to a tree when you're out. Learning on this one saved me a lot of crashes because it has those features. Now, a little while later I got this one. This is just a cheap toy quad. It does have altitude hold, but it don't work worth a flip. Not worth a flip. The only way to get this thing to fly is just to put it in manual mode and just gun it. This thing is 10 times harder to fly than this one. 10 times harder to fly. It is really fast and it's fun to fly, but I have crashed this thing 100 times. If I'd have crashed this one as many times as I've crashed this, and there wouldn't be nothing left of it. But I hadn't crashed this one but once, and I didn't really crash it. I just kind of got it stuck in a little fruit tree in front of my house there, where I got too close to it and it hung in it. This one, I mean, because I learned on this one, made it a lot easier to fly this one. if I had never flown this one, I probably would still be learning to fly this one. That's all I'm trying to say. And if you're going to spend $100 or less to get a cheap toy quad that don't have those kind of features, that's going to be a lot harder to fly. Why not go ahead and spend $115 and get this one that is fairly well made? I mean, I have nothing bad to say about it. It is, and it takes pictures and video, and I mean, this is a nice bird. It's as good as it is as good of a flyer as the Hubsan as far as flying goes and return to home. Now, it don't have the range, and it don't have FPV and that sort of thing. I mean, the Hubsan is a better, but it costs a lot more. Now, I plan on getting the Hubsan maybe later on someday, or building my own, and that was another thing. I got this for $100, and I got the FPV system for $100. Now, the FPV system is going to be one that I can just Velcro or tape or rubber band on to this. Now, I have plans maybe to build my own copter in the future. So I could take that off and put it on that copter. So I weighed all my options, and this was the best route for me, and I believe it would be the best route for most newcomers to this hobby. Because this is basically, $100 is basically a cheap toy drone, and this is kind of going from the toy into the better hobby grade copters. I guarantee you, if you start with this one, you will like it. And after you learn to go out and turn and come back and get your orientation when it's way out and stuff like that, then you can turn the GPS off and learn how to fly it a little better. And then if you get a quad that don't have that sort of stuff, you'll know how to fly it easier. You won't be crashing all the time. A lot of reviewers out there, when you ask them what you should get, they'll say start out with a cheap toy. And to me, this is, really. I mean, because it don't cost that much. A lot of people would say, oh, you shouldn't have started with that because it has GPS and all that. You're not really learning how to fly, but you actually are. Maybe you're not learning the right way, but it really does help. I don't really have anything else to say about it. I did a lot of reviews. I read a lot of reviews on a lot of different quads, and until I ran across this one, I was going to get a Hubsan. And like I say, I would still like to have one day. But I'm pretty happy with this one, so we'll see. I think my next thing I'm going to do, though, is maybe build my own. I don't know, maybe a 5 or 6 inch. Just that way I can build it the way I want. And I don't know, I'm going to do some things to this one and tinker, but the only thing I don't like about this one is it goes 1,000 meters, but then it hits this geofence or something, and it'll just automatically go into the return to home and come back, fly back to you and land, which is okay, but I would like to be able to just go as far as I want until the transmitter, you know, because my transmitter is still receiving it. I mean, I'm still connected with full signal at 1,000 meters. So I know it'll go a lot further than that. And that's what I wished it would do. That's my only, that's the only bad thing I got to say about this one. But if you're gonna, if you want to start out with something cheap that is reliable and that I promise you'll be happy with, this is the Bugs b2c. You can get it off many sites for right now pretty cheap. I don't know what it'll be later, but right now, you know, I got this one, like I said, for $115.99 from GearBest, and I think Tom Top had it for $112. I mean, there's several places you can get them. They run them on sales. Now, they do have a red and black model in this. It's a little more expensive, and it has FPV, but it's wireless. 5 gigahertz, I think, wireless FPV, and they say that works pretty good on it. You get a little lag, but Anyway, if you want to go cheap, this is the way to go. Alright, I'm out. Thanks.